It's now time for Trivia Tracks with yours truly, Price Robertson. This edition of Trivia Tracks is brought to you by Washita Valley Respiratory Care, where you can breathe a little easier, and Beth Smith at Edward Jones. Edward Jones, making sense of investing, member SIPC. The Beatles and Bing Crosby were two of the biggest names in music during the 20th century. In fact, John Lennon grew up a Crosby fan. In a 1964 interview with TV Guide, Crosby was quoted as saying, "Sinatra was 20 times bigger than I ever was, and Presley, as in Elvis Presley, was bigger than Sinatra. But there's never been anything like the Beatles." Here are these elected facts about the Fab Four and their bingle. The Beatles were ranked number 1 on VH1's 100 Greatest Artists of Rock and Roll. Bing Crosby had 43 number 1 hits, more than the Beatles and Elvis put together. Paul McCartney wrote When I'm 64 when he was 15. Bing Crosby built a new library for Gonzaga University in the 1950s and raised some of the money for the project by starring in a TV special called The Edsel Show, which aired in place of Ed Sullivan on October 13, 1957. The Beatles were the first rock and roll performers to be immortalized in Madame Tussauds Wax Museum in London. The band's personal tailor Doogie Millings supplied the suits for the wax effigies. Bing Crosby's childhood home is now a tourist attraction. Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney are the only former Beatles to make it past their 64th birthdays. Bing Crosby invested in tape recording so that he could record his radio show, then go out and play golf while the show was repeated on tape. According to John Lennon, the Beatles' 1964 hit I Feel Fine featured the first intentional use of guitar feedback on a pop song. This is heard at the very beginning of the track. On the day of his death, Bing Crosby played a full 18 holes of golf, where he scored a respectable 85 and won the match. Walking off the 18th green of the La Moraleja Golf Club in Madrid, Spain, he suffered a massive heart attack. His last words were reported as, "That was a great game of golf, fellas." However, according to the summer 2001 issue of Club Crosby's Bing Gang magazine, he then said, "Let's go have a Coca-Cola." According to his biographer Gary Giddens, Crosby's last words were, "Let's go get a Coke." Contrary to popular belief, The Ed Sullivan Show was not the Beatles' American TV debut. On November 18, 1963, 3 months before Beatlemania exploded, the group appeared via satellite on Dick Clark's American Bandstand. In case you're wondering, Bing Crosby was the first person to sing White Christmas. Crosby saluted the Beatles with his versions of songs such as Both Sides Now, Little Green Apple, and of course, Hey Jude, on his 1968 album, Hey Jude, Hey Bing, released on producer Jimmy Bowen's Amos label. Till next time, I'm Price Robertson. Amazed by today's trivia? Then join me every Monday through Friday morning for Trivia Tracks on Fox Sports Camden 97.1.